It's good to know you are still there. Thank you so much, everyone, for still staying with us. We are moving on to another conversation now. I was talking about the Edo APC crisis. Let me give you a little bit of the background. The People's Democratic Party, Edo State Chapter, on Wednesday mocked the ruling All Progressives Congress in the state, describing it as a disorganized party. Reacting to the gale of suspension rocking the APC in the state, the PDP state chairman said it is only in APC by national chairman, the state chairman, and the secretary will be suspended all in one day. And this is what we shall be looking at this beautiful morning. We have a guest in the house, our public affairs analyst, Mr. Osani Dubu. It's good to have you here this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you back.
Thank you.
Let me start off this way. Edo APC crisis. It appears that it's not abating. And at a point in time now that you're thinking that by now the tension should have been doused. We should have a situation where the ex-governor is working with the present state governor so that the state can have some sort of peace. But it appears that there is more fires being put into it. There's more fuel being put into the fire or fighting within the state, talking about the political bigwigs within the state itself. How can they address this issue once and for all?
Yes, the problem in APC in Edo State, rather than abating, the problem is escalating by the day. I think I will align myself with the position of the PDP. The best way to describe the APC as a whole is to call them disorganized, both at state level and at the national level.
And why will you extend it to the federal level as well?
See, we have crisis. Do you know there is fear in Edo State APC as we speak now, that if care is not taken, a likely reoccurrence of the Zamfara, Rivers, and a couple of other states that they lost in the last election. So these are the issue. If you look at it, it is not just APC lack cohesion as a political party, because it is so shameful and absurd that you have APC governor in the state, and we have APC national chairman, a former governor of the same state. They've been at loggerhead. If there is any state that should maintain a peaceful political relationship in Nigeria, it should be that of Edo State. So for me, I think they have not done well. And unfortunately so, the issue of reconciliation have not been mentioned right from the beginning of this crisis. The crisis later escalated. There have been crises between Oshomole and Obaseki, but the crisis became escalated during the inauguration of the Edo State House of Assembly.
But what is this desperation all about? What do you think the desperation is all about? Because it appears more or less like a desperation between two top figures within the state itself, talking about Oshomole and of course Obaseki. These are two men who understood themselves before Obaseki came in as the governor. What is the desperation, political desperation, all about?
Or let me say, perhaps Oshomole thought he understand Obaseki before he brought him on board. Because Oshomole had to offend everybody in his cabinet, including his deputy, to ensure the primary processes were subverted in favor of Godwin Obaseki. The cause of the whole problem is power play. Every one of them want to control the party structure.
So you think it's godfatherism?
See, that is, all of this continue to reoccur, except we have a political culture wherein when you leave office, you will agree to absolutely leave office. That is the case we have seen here. When Oshomole got into Edo State Government House, he dismantled everything called godfatherism in Edo politics. He was the architect at that time of one man, one vote. You know what happened to the Grenadians? You know what happened to
Will we call him a traitor here?
The Anene, not a traitor per se, because those belong to the other party.
If you say from his body language that he dismantled what is called godfatherism in Edo State, how did he become the governor? Because somehow he was an anointed candidate. He didn't come off to say that I'm interested in this position, and he got it through the primaries. We know the role that the incumbency played, which is Chomole at that point in time. Are we saying that he is not aware that he also benefited from that kind of policy, from that kind of process in terms of godfatherism before he became a governor?
Of course, no. If you look at how Chomole became a governor in 2007.
I'm talking about Obaseki here.
Okay.
Was he not an anointed candidate?
He was an anointed candidate.
So how can you dismantle the same process that brought him in?
That is the point I'm making. Oshomole came in as a governor. He dismantled anything called political godfatherism in Edo State. Now he himself wants to be a godfather. Today, Obaseki does not want anything called godfatherism. He wants to run on his own. After his 8 years...
Is it possible?
Or should we even be having godfatherism in
After
the
his
first place?
8-year term, Obaseki too, I won't be surprised. He will also want to dictate who succeed him and what have you in the state. The issue of godfatherism, if you look at it, in my view, I think we should not have godfatherism. It's not only in Edo State. Of course, the issue in Edo State has become so messy. We have the same issue in Kano. We have the same issue in, I think, Akwa Ibom and a couple of other states like that. What should be done is that governors should be advised, when you leave office, learn to live absolutely. You are not holding anything. That is why it is dangerous for governors who want to, by all means, ensure that they install their successor. Because if you look at time record, it will not be up to 6 months.
Okay, talking about the scale of suspension rocking the APC in Edo State, what are the implications as of now?
The implication is that they are most likely going to lose that state. That is why there is consciousness on the part of party leadership all across the country and even in Edo State that if care is not taken, we might have a case, a repeated case of Rivers, wherein the party was absolutely divided against itself, and that robbed them of their chances.
You said something about political leadership and, of course, godfatherism, wanting to install a successor. What is it that they want to cover? Is there something in their track they needed to cover and bring in somebody they feel that will do their bidding, will not look into the books of the state maybe in the last 4 years or 8 years of the administration? What is the thing about the desperation of installation of a successor by political power of incumbency that is within a state that is about to leave?
Well, I think the primary intention of this godfather is to be able to dictate the pace, one, politically, then secondly, look at how to cover up wherever they feel that anything can happen in terms of a probe of whatever situation wherein they've acted in office. For me, I think what should be done, because from in recent history, we have learned that before 6 months, they will fall out because the governors are so powerful. That is the truth of the matter. But this idea of people leaving office and wanting to also dictate what is obtainable there, don't forget, Oshomole, like I said, offended so many people to bring Obaseki.
You will recall that definitely the former national chairman of the APC were having issues like this during his time, and when Oshomole came on board, there was this peace accord where they said, oh, let's now have a reconciliation meeting, and it appeared that things actually died down. Then why is it now difficult for Oshomole in his own state to actually handle things?
See, there were crises in APC before Oshomole came. He wanted to bring about a disciplined party, party supremacy as it is. And that didn't work because of his approach. Oshomole today has not been able to differentiate between being a labor leader and a political party leader. These are governors, these are elders. You can't just lord over them in the manner of political activism. That is the difference. Oshomole, in my own view, mean well for the party, but he lacks the appropriate method to actually carry out this strategic reform. Like I said, it is shameful that this will be happening in your own state. What I feel is that Oshomole will have, to a very large extent, played the big brother role to ensure that, the larger interests of the party should be at stake.
So what steps do you think the APC should play in this particular issue?
Unfortunately, the president is not talking. We have seen a scenario. It is obvious that the president was only interested in his own election. Of course, he said that during campaign, vote for me, vote for whoever you like, because this is detrimental to the party. Winning and losing elections starts.
Who is the head of the political party? Talking about APC now, beyond the national leadership, who is more or less Tinubu, who is really supposed to play the fatherly role here in terms of the political party, talking about APC here?
I think it is the president.
So why is it not doing that?
The title given, the Achiwaju appellation of the national leader is just a title, just to accommodate him or what have you. The president, apart from the national chairman, is the overall leader of the party, who is supposed to call warring party to order. We have various issues of reconciliation. Look at in Rivers State, for example, there are still issues there. Look at Zamfara State, for example, the issue that caused the loss to the party is still on ground. So these are issues, no reconciliation, nothing. The president pretended as if nothing is happening in Edo State. If care is not taken, don't forget APC is not a very strong party.
What will even be the head of this reconciliatory commission or committee itself, given the fact that the APC being headed as the national chairman is Oshomole? And of course, if anything has to happen in terms of reconciliatory process, it has to go through him. Or should he be told to step aside and have somebody look at the party structure, vis-a-vis what is happening in the Edo State, and let him hands off? Would it be the case here?
Well, stepping aside, I don't see how visible that would be, except seriously the governor had to move against him seriously. But I feel the president can
in this case, in order to address this crisis.
In order to address the crisis, I feel so strongly that the results or the solution in the mediating process should be domiciled in the presidency. The president himself should handle this, because I feel Oshomole and Obaseki could be called to order by the president, because whether we like it or not, in one way or the other, they still reserve some respect for Mr. President. But up till as we speak now, you know, that is the president's style since he became president. The issue will always have deteriorated before the president will now take a stand on it.
As of now, it appears that the PDP, they are having a field day in Edo State based on what is happening in Ranko in the APC. Do you see the APC getting the act together ahead of the election next year?
Well, it depends on how efforts being put in place to actually reconcile various parties. Contrary to what you just said, PDP is not having a field day. PDP is also having some couple of crises in Edo State. But I think if APC should continue this way, it will be to the advantage of the PDP at the long run.
But let's look at even the political structure of the country. Do they have ideologies that really would put forward a legacy that whoever that is coming on board will understand this legacy, and it will be pure, it will be credible, and it will be a process that will ensure that people who come into office are accountable? Like what you're already saying in Edo State shows desperation, shows people who are ready to die and ensure that they retain power. Does the political party structure, talking about the APC, the PDP, and of course some others, do they have great ideologies to actually leave a legacy that will talk about posterity and the rest of it?
I think the major problem of political parties in Nigeria is this issue of ideology, lack of ideology. There's no clear-cut ideology in the various political party structure that will have. Somebody will come as a national leader and want to dictate. Unlike in a Senate climb and the way it should be run and the way it has even run in Nigeria before, where we have party supremacy, we do not have a situation where the president will have a different manifesto from what the party wants to do. We see government coming up with 7-point agenda, 3-point agenda, 14-point agenda, different from what their political party would do. The normal process of political party evolution and structure is that when a particular party is coming in, the masses will know the dimension and things to be expected from such a political party, irrespective of the order.
We're still talking about this issue of suspension. Does it have any consequence? Because we've seen situations whereby some APC governors have been suspended, and you now start asking, are there consequences?
There are no consequences. APC is a party where people do anything and get away with it. It's a party of impunity, and I believe they should put their
Isn't that being so hard on them, a little bit too harsh on the party?
You mean myself?
Exactly.
Not really. That is what it portends. In a single day, the national chairman of the APC suspended. Before the close of business that same day, the secretary to the state government, the state party chairman,
are we singling out just the APC in all of this? Are we singling out the APC in all of this?
APC is a case study on the issue on ground. We are talking of Edo State.
But we are also looking at party structure
APC
here.
Crisis. Party structure is 40. There's no eternal democracy. There's no party supremacy.
Across board.
Across board. Individuals are larger and bigger than political party, because unlike in those days where money is being raised to fund political party, but today individual fund political party.
You talked about not having a structure and all of those. If there is suspension, what are those things that you would have expected that will happen?
See, this suspension, in my view, is kangaroo. Suspending Oshomole is just like tenant coming together and say we are suspending our landlord. The idea of the other faction suspending the governor and all of that is a repeat of the same political madness. What I feel should be done is a situation where Oshomole will come down. The governor too has not also done well in the management of this whole crisis. Let them come together. Every ambition of every party member must be situated within the larger interest of that political party. That is what should be done.
We must say thank you so much to Austin Odomo. Thank you for being here, and of course, he's a public affairs analyst. We've been looking at the Edo APC crisis, and we have to move straight to our Lagos studios. They are standing by to keep us up to speed with what is happening in the national dailies from here in Ibadan. I am Bolabo, Famous School. Do enjoy your day.
And we must say thank you for staying with us all this while. And from Ibadan Studio, we have to wrap up now. I am Anu Akomolafe. Till tomorrow, be good and be productive.